just because I felt like we had a really good. So welcome everyone to Now Chronicles. Me and Siba T are back again, and you can see from the image we have up, we're still kind of continuing our conversation from last week. And last week we talked a lot about, or we got into talking about the psychology. It was really this image here, right, that got us really sparking off the psychology of it, or talking about what they were saying in the messaging. Now, for me, for the first time when I saw this, it was a big transition because I was used to seeing these and interpreting these as triads, right? And the triads we see, okay, does this challenge what we were thinking about with the triads? Like when we see the representation and it's like the mother, the son, the father, is that still, or is it more representations like this?
No, the triad would be different when it comes to family structure.
Okay, right.
Yeah, but this is not that. This is something.
Yeah.
And so we shared, a piece about that last week.
Yeah.
And so one of the most important things we talked about was that this represents both sides of a person's brain.
Right.
And so what that's saying to us is what the right side and the left side represents.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
But what's important about this is to know now that's not talking about three people.
Yeah.
That's talking about one person. And so when someone came and said, hey, I didn't know about that, because what I saw or what other people see is exactly what you just said.
Right.
And so I said no, and I said what's happening is we're not focusing in on a lot of our being, and and we talked about the psychology, but this focus on a lot of neuroscience, okay, biology, okay, and physiology. But in this case, what you're looking at is they're talking about actually what's going on in the brain. And so a lot of Egyptologists and people like that have said that the Egyptians was not focused on the brain, which is completely wrong.
Right.
Because as we can see right here, this representation is clearly telling us that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what people don't understand is that if you ever studied or understood what an autopsy looks like, a lot of people, brain is looked at as to find out a lot of things about it, right?
Yeah.
And so they want to find out what the cause of death is. There may have been some other issues wrong with the brain, but in Egyptian time, they had the same issue. The only thing is they had a different way of taking the brain out of the skull.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we do also. Okay, but we use some similar tools. Okay, but the brain was just as important then as it is now.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay. So one of the things I liked about our conversations, because we're going to come back to this, I just wanted to kind of intro like where this conversation really started, and so some of the topics I'm going to bring up will make a little more sense, right? So we see this imagery, which is really about the ancient Egyptians explaining how the brain operates. Like, and you mentioned one, it's understanding psychology is very useful in warfare, right? It's huge, right? And one of the things that we know is even in modern times, I like to kind of illustrate things in modern times, right? This is just a document that talks about, we kind of briefly touched on it, was MK Ultra, which was a program, if you guys aren't aware of, a program that was run here in the United States by the CIA from like 1953 to like 1975, I think it was, right? Mm-hmm. And it was a program that was conducted on Americans, all right? And what they were trying to do was to figure out how to alter brain activity, how you perceive things, formulas to make you susceptible to telling the truth, or all types of things like this. Where does something like this come from? Like this type of like ideology from like the CIA?
Well, it's nothing new. I mean, but what we're seeing right now is the new representation of it, or what we think is new to us.
Right.
Okay. So the ancient Greeks had their way, the ancient Romans had their way, and we had our way. But so we utilize this MK Ultra because we're using mind-altering type of, I would use basically pharmaceuticals or drugs, if you will.
Right.
Okay. Right. So these other things that we're talking about is more man-made, something that was a little bit more, I would have to say, more naturalized. Say for an example, when Leonidas went to to talk to the what they would call the spiritual person of the prophetess, they would go into some type of trance, but they would utilize mind altering drugs to be able to give them visions.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And so they went into the Spartan women because the Spartan women were the one they were when we say priestess like.
Uh-huh.
And so when they went into to what was happening is before they end up going to what we call the hot gates or what they call the 300,
Mm-hmm.
they said, okay, should we battle? Should we not?
Right.
So they had to get a word, not from the E4s. The
Uh-huh.
E4 was more like the judges. Where we're talking more is of they need a spiritual guidance. So Leonidas went there. So
Okay.
Leonidas got an understanding based on this interpretation of this revelation that he was to be the king that was supposed to die for his nation.
Okay.
Okay, so the 300 people that went to the hot gates or to what we would call to face, of course, the Persian army. That was just a 300 special bodyguard. It
Right.
wasn't
Okay.
like the 300. Okay, and so it was 7,000 Greeks actually what was going on with the whole situation. It was a collective city states of different Greeks, and they all came together. But he got a vision saying this is what he was supposed to do. But mind altering drugs was a part of that because that's how they were able to interpret things through visions. Okay, so it's kind of like the same type of situation. Okay,
Right.
but what people don't understand is that they utilize that in ancient times.
Okay.
Yeah, I know this is
Yeah, no. But like I said, I mean, they had an understanding of the human mind already, so they would
Yes,
have understood psychology. Now
very much
you've
so.
opened up a whole like door with this one though.
Yes, and so this is what people don't understand. So anytime you're dealing with that type of thing, of course, going into what they would call the seances, they would go into different types of like rituals and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mind altering, they call them mind altering drugs, but of course, these are natural acid herbs and other things, right? That would be able to put them into a different type of mental state. So they needed vision to be able to do these things. Of course, it's mentioned in the Bible where you're talking about the winds of Endor, where you're talking about the people in Canaan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's different types of people who have done these things, right? So we see this project or MK Ultra as something that's new, but of course it's a new way of looking at things. But the ancients also had a similar type of way. It was just something that was done more on a natural process.
Right. Okay. 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 We had a question in the comments for you. Okay, is there a difference between the brain and the mind? I only ask because the brain we find and study, but the mind cannot. Like some can only study someone else's brain.
All right, so but this is where I'll talk about that. So yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So the brain is different from the mind. The mind, okay, is what is called consciousness or energy that is separated from the brain.
Right.
So when people think that the mind is the brain, but it's not.
Okay.
The brain all in itself,
Yeah.
okay, is that organ. But what people don't understand is the mind is, of course, this sensation,
Right.
energy, okay, that's able to be manipulated in the mind. So
Yeah.
yes, it is a separate thing from that.
Yeah.
So so I wanted to kind of just start off with that. So the question to that in the chat room is yes, there is a difference.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that was pretty succinct there. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So it is because see what's happening is people don't understand what that looks like. So here we go. So there's a couple of things I want to put up there so we can be able to see what's going on. And of course, I had to put Nine World Chronicle symbol up there.
Yes. Let me download this right here. Okay, hang on. Let me to the right folder. Oh, come on here. And this one.
Okay, so we saw this last week, but that one, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So Nine World Chronicle. So we're looking at the eye, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so you see the eye. What do you see there? See, I want to talk about this a little bit because this is very important because when we are talking about looking at something like this, that's what we think it is.
Right.
So for all of us, they say it's the eye of Providence, it's the eye of Horus, it's the eye of Ra, right? They have these type of things. Okay, so what people don't understand is the eye is actually talking about your brain. So the eye is the brain.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
the eye is the brain. Okay,
that's
okay.
correct.
Yeah.
And so this eye represents everything that's about your senses.
Okay.
So you're right. So this makes up what is called the eye in a complete sense. So you have your seeing, your hearing, your taste, touch, all of your senses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Makes up this eye. This eye of what? This eye of consciousness.
Okay.
This eye of consciousness that's able to relate through through the physical world. That's what this eye is talking about. The eyeball that you're looking at is talking about your pineal gland.
Yeah,
inside of your brain.
Yeah, yeah.
So the eye itself, there you go. So the eye is talking about the brain, but if you bring this in up again, yeah, just move that, move that in front. Okay, just get rid of that. Yeah, you can close this one out.
All right,
there you go. There you go, perfect. So now we have the end. The end represents in the nature, as you can see, it looks like waves.
Yeah, it looks like waves. Yeah.
Okay. This waves has a lot to do with that because I want to be able to show you a next picture.
Okay.
That I just sent to you. So this is exactly what I've been trying to explain since the last time. Okay. So this represents waves. Wait, what type of waves? These waves are energy waves.
Yeah.
There you go. You see that?
Yeah.
You see the representation there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So this is representing these waves. What type of waves are we talking about? Sound waves, energy waves. This is what it's talking about that's connecting to a person's brain. Now, remember now, the brain is separate from the mind.
Right, right.
Okay? So now, so you can see this picture, but I wanted to let you know it represents or connects to the connection.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Because that's exactly what you're looking at. So I wanted people to see this connection because, again, when we're talking about energy, you're talking about consciousness. Again, what I wanted to show you was the eye. The eye is very important for lots of reasons.
Yeah.
Okay, so the eye represents a lot that has a lot to do with your four brains. Okay, your four brains. Okay, so your first brain is your animal brain. Okay. Okay. The second brain is your human nature or your human brain.
Okay.
The third is the intellectual brain.
Yeah.
That part of you. And then the last is emotional brain. So these four brains make up what we know, okay, as how we're able to relate.
Right.
That's why you see Haru on top of the head of the Nasuke.
Right. Right.
That's why you see Satesh on the top. Okay, they're talking about animal brain.
Okay.
Okay, intellectual brain is you see the cone here. They put on the different types of crown, the intellectual part of it. The emotional part of you. We talk about nurturing, for an example, segment.
Right.
Okay, so these things make up the four brains what we're talking about. But as you can see, this side now is saying now you see waves.
Right.
Okay, very important to see in our four brains.
Okay, so and if I'm correct, if we go back to like the beginning, the Ogdenwood story, it is about vibration ultimately, right?
Well, yeah, it's all about vibration because energy is how all consciousness exists.
Right.
Okay, but we understand that, right, because we know what is the oldest in the creation, which is of course water. Right, water holds more memory than anything on planet Earth.
Yeah, that's very true. Water holds more memory than anything else. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the most important thing to know.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah.
In the water, there's consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. In the Inuit, consciousness.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We're talking about these different types of things, and so when people are saying, okay, anything, when we're talking about the Banu bird, or we're talking about when all consciousness because of course, the squeaking of the Banu bird that woke everything became awoken.
Right.
Awakened.
Right.
Consciousness.
Right.
To awaken.
Right.
Right. So all of this thing is talking about that. Remember, consciousness is everything. Everything. In water, above water, below. As so below, right?
Yeah. So above.
So above, so below. Right, exactly. So that's what we're looking at. So I wanted people to actually see this because this is how our brain works 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. This is exactly how it is.
Yeah.
But what people don't understand is the N is very important because of the method measures talking about the wave. And so we're talking about that in right, Montu or Menentu. We're talking about the N word.
Right.
Neck bet, the N word. All this represents consciousness in this form of energy.
Right. Right. That's pretty profound because the connection with water, obviously water is like the medium from which all this stuff came forth. And it's kind of funny when you other faiths have latched on to the idea of the memory of water. I was doing some reading about some of those old Kraken cults, those Kraken type cults, who was all about sea creatures, right? And the reason why they were held in such regard is because their home was the depths of the ocean. That is where the deepest memories of the planet reside, is in those deepest waters. Right. So there has always been, in multiple belief systems, there has always been a belief about the power of water, specifically the memory of water to capture those waves and remember those waves. Those waves are all like, we are also significantly made up of water. So that natural attunement to those waves, right, is there because of that water transfer.
Exactly. So the reason why I wanted to talk about the eye in the beginning, because people think it's your natural eye, but it's not.
Right. Right.
Okay. Your eye only gets actually 1% of actually what you're actually really seeing.
Right.
1%.
Right.
Okay. What's happening is that when it enters through, okay, this retina, we're talking about this energy, this light. Well, what's happening here? These brain waves that you're seeing is making up of all the other stuff, right? That's conditioned. We're talking about your neurons, your senses, right?
Right.
This is what's happening with that. But we think we see 100% of everything we see every day, but we don't.
Right. Your brain just does a good job putting together an image.
That's exactly what it does.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're functioning on these 4 brains that I just mentioned about.
Right.
But and that's based on that. But when you see the eye from now on and right moving forward, it's not just the actual eye. It's talking about consciousess. Right, how you relate through your senses.
Right, right. That's very powerful. Yeah, I've seen that kind of transpose over like the pineal gland. It kind of fits over that very symbol there.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the whole point of this symbolism is that when I see people wear it, I don't think they really understand the true meaning of it. So yeah, and that's why I ask people: is that the eye of Peru? Is that the eye of Ra? Whatever. They're not understanding what the differences are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So if you are to be in this conscious state, then you would understand exactly what it is. But I think people just wear it because it looks good.
Yeah.
But of course, not understanding in its totality how it relates to their physical being.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, I wanted to pull this image up real quick, if I can.
Okay, so let's go here.
You can see here that that's where they're taking that very eye and kind of transposing over that area again. Your pineal gland being right there.
Well, yeah, exactly. And there's other parts to it. Like I said before, you see all what's going on here, but you're operating in different areas. But one of the things that people are probably not noticing is the animal brain part. The animal brain part that we have discussed earlier has a lot to do with what's on the front of in the suit Nehesi. And that's who? That's Wajet, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's Wajet. Wajet is referring to the eye.
Okay.
Okay. This is exactly what it's talking about, the brain. See, we represented the brain this way.
Right.
Okay. But what they were saying is every time you saw it on the crown, every time you saw it on the mask and all this type of stuff they talk about, you always see that cobra there.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Okay. And that's what this is talking about. Now, this is also talking about the energy, of course. It's talking about the Wajet, or we're talking about, again, the eye, and as you mentioned before, the pineal gland.
Right.
Even in the Bible, it talks about that.
It does.
Okay. It says the eye is what? The light of the body, right?
Right.
Okay, and it talks all about this very same thing because they know, we know,
right,
that you're referring to what? Everything it refers goes right back to the eye that everybody knows. They see it. It's on the dollar bill. It's
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same situation, right?
Yeah.
Same resemblance,
Yeah.
right? But now we know.
Yeah.
Okay. You're connecting that to it. So that right there just lets you know that everything you're talking about is the being.
Yeah.
The consciousness.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
The awareness.
Yeah.
this type of thing. Like
Yeah.
you're alive.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
As long as energy exists.
You will continue to exist.
Right.
This is absolutely correct.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. Okay. No, that's a big part of the conversation that we were having last week was just how those things are represented right in the meta ntch first of all, and then the science behind it. And it seems like there was so much science that came out of North Africa. I mean, like almost every discipline. I don't think there was a discipline that was not engaged. We were talking about chemistry. We were talking about obviously agriculture was part of the things that they were developing there. Pyramid building, like there was a lot, and even how the pyramids are built is all based on pretty much mathematical precision.
It's perfection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, perfection.
Yeah.
So, but this all functions about on brain activity.
Right.
Right, again.
Right.
So they understood the importance of knowledge through the brain.
Right.
They understood that part of it, and that's kind of what we need to understand. So we talked a little bit about now how we got that we talked about the 3 statues of the triad. We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all these things is clear when it comes to knowledge. Now, here we go. So these are all referring to, again, the same thing we already know. This right here in the middle, for instance, all the chakras.
Right.
And it's going on, okay.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about the step pyramid. Of course, we see that a lot in Aztec temples, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, this step pyramid goes all the way up. This is talking about consciousness again.
Right.
Okay. The step pyramid is talking about the same thing and talking about that. Those are talking about that with Hotep is a part of that, as you can see here. It's right here in the middle of the first one to the right.
Mm-hmm.
This would be, if we were to look at this from the pyramid perspective, this is talking about the Djed.
Okay.
Okay, the Djed. So this is right. So this is what that would look like if we don't have a picture of that, I don't think. But the Djed would look very similar to this to the right. Okay, so that's what that would look like. The step pyramid is there. You
that
go.
One there.
So
okay.
See, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
See this is all right. This is your spine right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the spine, in the Djed, in each kemet represents stability.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So in the ntch.
Yeah.
So we don't have a picture of that. I didn't know you were going to show this, and that's kind of what this is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The next picture, okay, it's all about the step pyramid. All this goes right. All this is about consciousness here. Okay. These different levels, these different steps. You see how these steps going, steps, all the way up to the top here.
Hang on, let me grab one here. Where's that image at? This is the one you're talking about here.
That's the Sibayat.
Oh, okay.
Sibayat, yeah. Okay, that's Sibayat. Yeah, that's the different. That's the Badunech.
Let me grab the one you just said.
Unless you have a Djed in your, did you have one there?
No, I don't.
Okay, so the Djed is referring to that is talking about that the very thing is talking about the spinal column, which is the one that's off to the right.
Okay.
Yeah. So kind of surprised me there a little bit.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for that one, but because let me see if I can pull one up for you here real quick. Because I'm able to. Oh, here we go. All right. Let's see if we can. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be ready.
Let me ask you while you're looking for that. I don't want to distract you too much. Can your pineal gland be calcified? Is
yes.
that such a thing? That's a true thing.
Yes. And that happens through a lot of things. So, for an example, if we are, if we're not taking care of our bodies properly, that would be an example of that. Right? Drugs would be another example of that. So, for an example, if you are, you want to say snorting, right? If you're doing any type of mind-altering drugs, they can really damage the brain. Of course, calcified.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, but truly, your pineal gland is like as soft as a grape.
Mm-hmm.
It's really soft. That's how it is with the child when they're born.
Mm-hmm.
The sensitivity of energy is so high.
Right.
Okay, but it's over time that it's lost. Right, the neurons and everything tend to, to decrease as we get older.
Right. Okay.
The intensity of that is very high. As a newborn baby or a child that's 1 year old, the world to them is intensified like 10 times.
Right.
They see, they want to touch and everything. They want
Yeah.
to get involved because the world they're exploring, right?
Right.
It's so sensitive to them.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's kind of what that looks like. But yes, can it be? And the answer is yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I've read about that. I've heard people talk about that. I never knew that was actual.
And that's one of the things that we have to learn is how to, how what can we do as for a reference to, um, you know, preventing that. But again, it's like the food that we eat,
Mm-hmm.
right? It has a lot to do with diet plans. There's a lot to do with just a lot of different reasons. I want to say,
Right.
okay, but as you mentioned before, is it something that can happen? And the answer is yes. So I'm still working on that. So as I'm still talking, I have the Sibayate. Did you pull that up?
Did you drop it? I don't see it there.
Yes. You had pulled it up before, I think.
Yeah, the last one I got is that last image I pulled up.
Oh, okay.
Chat. You dropped it in the chat, right?
Yes, sir. Bring it up. What it's talking about is this again right there. It's in the chat, yeah. So it's talking about that is the teaching of instruction that happens, but they're focusing a lot again on brain activity, and of course, instruction is taught at the per unk.
It's weird. It's not showing up.
Oh, it's not showing up.
No. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
See if I can bring that up again. I thought it's in the.
My man also mentioned calcium building up in your body can cause that effect too.
Too much of that, yes.
Okay, that's what I've actually heard as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. I agree with that. Where are we? So I'll put it in the chat again. Then, here we go. Right here.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, this is cool right here. Okay. Why do you not? Ooh. All right. Oh, jeez. What am I doing here? This is a good one, too. Okay, there we go.
There we go. Yep.
Okay.
So as we can see here, this is called the digit or the stability, where you're looking at a couple of different things.
Okay.
So the rings that's referring to, you can see the different levels. But for this particular show, I just want to say that this represents that spine that you saw inside of that pyramid.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, right. So in the Hebse, when I talked about that.
Yep.
The Nasut Biti had to wrap ropes around his arms and pull one of those up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is talking about the stability of Kemet. This is all part, yes. So This is a very important symbol. Okay. Mm-hmm. Talks about your spine. It talks about how everything needs to be in order. So we're talking about two different things here. So again, in the Medunetra part of it, stability means stability in word, and deed, and action.
Right.
Okay. This is what the Djed represents.
Okay.
Okay. So when we're looking at that picture, let's put those two together. There you go.
Yeah.
See this? Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
See? So, but you don't see the jet here because it should be in the pyramid, but that's exactly what it's representing. The bottom is of course, your tailbone, right?
Right, right,
And you're going all the way up to the back of your cranial. Okay?
right, right.
And then and
And
this
there's
is
your
exactly
consciousness, right?
exactly
Right.
same situation.
Okay. Yeah,
You see that? Okay.
yeah,
So the reason why I wanted to point this out is because the myth of nature is so valuable and so powerful when it comes to explaining the body and explaining what something is. But what we did, we were able to put them into symbols to explain or mean it.
right.
Okay. But when you're looking at this, okay, you're talking about the human anatomy. But of course, when you were dealing with bodies, that was a part of everyday life for us. So we don't see right. So this this wouldn't mean anything. In the nature, as you can see, the djed means everything.
Right, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a pretty amazing symbol there. I like that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Of course, we know the pyramid down here at the bottom is talking about the Eye of Providence here, and it's got everything that's written in Latin down at the bottom. But what is this little? See this little? It's like it's shining here on top here.
On top of the eye there? Yeah.
Yeah. This is consciousness.
Right.
Okay, around the eye.
Right.
Consciousness around the eye. And I said before, and I said again, it talks about all that relates to you relating to the physical world and consciousness, or the Shekinah glory, they would call it.
Right.
It's talking about light, being, consciousness.
Yeah.
I know I'm saying that word a couple of times, but I have to really emphasize that, because without that, there will be nothing.
Right.
Okay. So you wouldn't be able to see without it. You wouldn't be able to hear without it.
Right.
Your sensory, your system would not be able to pick up vibrational energy.
Yeah.
So there would be no feeling without that. So you have to have it, right? So all that is related to that. So that's how powerful this is.
Yeah, that's very powerful. I mean, that whole concept, I mean, essentially music is very much vibration. That was one of the things that we had talked about. So when we live in, so again, there was a couple of things that again go on that. We talked about vibration. We talked about music. So I want to kind of throw this out there since we were on that mindset about subliminal messaging, right? Because subliminal something, again, coming out of the conversation about MK Ultra and then talking about just the power of vibration, subliminal messaging was something that came later, right when the early development of television, and it was the idea that they could slip words or meanings beneath your conscious level. These things were designed to hit your subconscious, right? And they could be done in short images, short videos, and it was so effective they had to burn it out of regular TV. They had to stop companies from doing that because they would embed messages in songs. Like you'd have a jingle for a cola, and it might be telling you something about how the cola is going to make you feel without you ever hearing those words, right? So how do you think, when we look at, like you were saying, the 4 parts of the brain, if we're looking at what is the subconscious, sometimes the most vulnerable part of your brain, what part does that relate to? Is that the animal consciousness, or where does it relate to?
Well, it all depends on what type of vibrations you're getting.
Okay.
So, we can have R&B music that'll have more of an emotional aspect of it.
Right.
But if you're listening to rock music, it turns that nature into something else.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm not saying that specific music, but that's hard rock. They call it, that hard rock can make you. I mean, if you listen to a like Metallica, or AC, that whole different level.
Yeah.
Of music. I know this from being familiar with music. I'm just saying.
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay, this is not like listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right. I was just going to talk about Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay.
I was just going to talk about Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah.
They understand the seriousness of vibrations of music, right?
Yeah.
And how, But it's talking about it right here in certain parts of your brain. But we're talking about that other type of music, right? That will turn the person animalistic.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Music is huge.
Music is huge. Yeah.
And dealing with behaviors and how people do things, based on that. I mean, you could say, in ancient Kemet, what we used to do is we had what they call traditional music. Some people say it's rituals, but it's not. It's traditional music. This music was a very calming thing.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so we had that type of thing going on. And you have a celebration music, right, is more, right, pepped up, right? More faster beats, right?
Right.
So it would make a person more active.
Right.
Okay, like if a person goes to the gym, they don't listen to soft music, right? They
Right.
want to listen to something that can really get their
Right.
heart
Something
beat.
that vibrates. Yeah, that vibrates on that
Right,
frequency.
right, right.
Yeah,
That really
absolutely.
vibrates their brain and get them exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so these hit on certain parts of a person's brain, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, it was funny because you had mentioned Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I was going to actually talk about some of their music because they understood. Obviously, we know their songs, right? We know like the music, the vibrational part was great, and that's what really got people in a state to listen to what they were saying. But if you listen to their lyrics, this is the song "Fantasy," which I'm sure you know. And to me, there's always been these references to manifesting. Like, first of all, you guys remember the album? I'm gonna pull up the album cover for this one. I gotta pull up the album cover for this one because this is just telling you what the brothers is on, man. Let's see if I can get it here real quick.
By the way, I thank everyone for coming to our channel, coming to listen to us and supporting us. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah, especially when we start talking about Earth, Wind, and Fire. Then you know we're gonna really go somewhere. Where are you at? Come here. Okay, this is the cover I wanted to drop out. So this is the cover to their album, right?
Okay, so here we go. So
Okay.
this is okay. So
Yeah.
this is where Abu Simbel.
Okay.
This is the temple of Ursula Ra the third.
Okay. Okay.
See, this is what this is all about. This it's clear as day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But see, that symbol is very important. But as we can see, the Nasubitis is there, right?
Yeah.
But when I first saw it, okay, this is years ago. Okay, I'm talking when I was in my early teens.
Yeah.
I had no idea
Right.
where that came from.
Right.
Right. They were ahead of their time.
They were so far ahead of their time.
Right. They were so far ahead of their time.
Yeah.
They understood
Yeah.
how powerful this was.
Right.
And this is exactly what it's talking about. It's talking about this very tip of the spear right now to this very day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is what they're talking about. Earth, wind, and fire is the elements of the nature.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who are we talking about? We got Earth, Geb, Wind, Tefnut, and fire is Ra.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. I didn't know that. I had never equated that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
See, this is how powerful this is. This is the nature. Right. Right.
Right.
And it's clearly personified. And what I love about it is, right, I'm able to actually interpret and understand it.
Right. Right.
Right. And they were speaking. So what I love about Earth, Wind, and Fire is they left a legacy for us to continue their works, right? That's what we are here to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are here to complete their incomplete works.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to carry this on. So this is right, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
I would love to have this as a poster on my wall.
Yeah, no, this is dope right here. I really like this. Yeah. I just remember listening to the songs and kind of catching glimpses and saying, wait a minute, are they really talking about what I'm thinking they're talking about? And then you go see their album cover and they were sharing this information like 40 years ago, right?
And people never, right? And it completely went over our head.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? But they were clearly powerful, right?
Yeah.
And you can see, right? I would like to even know what this. A lot of people say this is the pyramid, but we don't use that term. That's the Merakut right there. So, so the Merakut is there, and like I said, I like to know if we're talking about the Merakut of Khufu. I would like to know which one of those that they're talking about, of course, but definitely. Where this is, and where this is right now in Egypt or Kemet, they call it Egypt.
Yeah,
we know who that is and where that is.
Right, right.
Okay, one of the most decorated places that everybody goes to and visit and take pictures of.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So I just wanted to just put that out there.
Yeah, no, it's a great image, and the song itself is all about manifesting and about long life, about renewal of life, right? All the things that we were talking about, the concepts that as long as energy exists, you exist. That's what they're talking about in this transfer. And then, of course, of course, my man asking the timely question about the brain and the mind being two separate things, right? The mind
Yep.
itself being that energy, that consciousness, the brain again just being a physical organ, a great organ, right? A very highly skilled organ that processes all this data, but ultimately it's your consciousness that
That's
is
right.
like the driving force.
That's right.
The thing with this, just like Earth, Wind, and Fire was showing us. Now, what Earth, Wind, and Fire did, which is something that is probably more prevalent in music during that era, was using that power, that command they had of rhythm or vibration, right? Where you're receptive to this, right? You're able to
Yep.
sit there. Like back in the day, like you talked to the old heads and they talked about concepts of like just people vibing together. Like they really meant that. That was
Right.
really what they were on, is one being at like a vibrational level, and there's a level of understanding that comes with that. Then they talk to you about like manifesting about talking about your history, talking about your culture while you're in that state. So it's very powerful, the control, that combining vibration with ideas at the same time.
That's exactly right. Right. But we understood that was a connection of unity
Right.
for Black people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and so
Absolutely.
that was one of those things that we knew and had. And my family grew up with Earth, Wind, and Fire, so
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
it was a whole. Everybody had their song and a big, huge at the album, and we
Yeah.
loved listening to that album, right? And
Right,
that's what it was
right.
all about,
Right.
right? But that was that. That was what
Yeah,
was
yeah,
going
no, that's
on.
real though. That's real. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah. It
yeah.
was a
So,
great thing.
but they left something that we all should, to me, I think, continue to aspire to follow,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because that's a powerful legacy there. So 100 Earth, Wind, and Fire, 100%.
yeah. Now it's interesting because like as we talk about music just in general, I kind of did just a cursory search, and there was like worldwide, there are probably 40 different recognized deities that were associated with music. Right,
Yep.
it was obviously a very important concept
Yep.
in northern Kemetic. I know that uh, 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 Hathor was associated with music. I think
Yep.
she had offspring that was associated with the sistrum, which was
Yep.
again music. The Greeks had, I think, Apollo was associated with music.
Yep.
So there was a lot of focus on the power of commanding that. But and didn't Apollo even carry like a, what did he carry with him? He carried
Like a
some
heart.
musical, like a harp. Yeah, it was some type of harp,
Yep.
right? So music was very powerful. I can't remember. You might remember the Greek who went down to the underworld and was able to get back from the underworld by playing music, right? That stimulated Hades.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly who it was, but there's a lot of stories about music and like how powerful music and vibration actually was.
Right. Exactly. And that's again, when you're talking about, right, all the history, of course, for the Greeks mythology, but for us, right, it's all about culture that has passed down from generation to generation. I wanted to bring these two up, man. I have to show you this.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Sorry. Let me get in here. Oh, this is cold right here, man.
okay.
All right, hang on, give me a sec. Okay, give me a sec here. Wait, where'd you go? Okay, 20.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you blow this guy up. Okay, so of course, if anyone has associated themselves or connected or know anything about the TV series or television cartoon series Bravestar,
Yes.
this is Bravestar. But the reason why I wanted to bring this up today, because again, it's talking about his animal brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is what it's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
This again, right? How would they know about these four animals? These four. Why is it not five? Why is it not six? Because they're talking about these different areas of your brain.
Right. Okay. Okay.
This is the central areas of brain. So what they're referring to is saying Bravestar has these powers of these animals, but
Mm-hmm.
no, it's just activating parts of his brain.
Right.
Okay, so this is what this is all about. So we can see this in NBA stars, right? We can see this people in track stars, in gymnasts,
Mm-hmm.
right? People who are very athletic and people who are very fast.
Yeah.
Okay, like we understand that part. But activates your brain part of you, right? That makes a person move fast. Okay, makes a person do certain things. And
Right.
all this is representing his Bravestar's brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really wanted to talk about that today because it's very, very important to know that because it's put into cartoons.
Yeah, yeah, big time. Yeah, and cartoons can be very influential.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
influential.
yeah.
Right. But remember now, this is all the same person.
Yeah.
Just different personalities of it.
Right, right.
Okay. This is something that we really need to get a hold of because, you know, as I said before, once we start to recognize and see it more in different ways, it's in everything pretty much because it's a part of us. It makes us who we are.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, no, that was a cool cartoon though. And
it really was.
I mean, like I said, we've seen like this is one of those cartoons that really showed like a hero that showed a reflection back on culture, like a very positive image, right? That we got out of that.
Really.
And it was very important. And because like all the stuff, especially the messages matter even more when it's something like this because you have to remember who's going to be watching it. Right. And it's always that part, that subconscious part where things slip in and they're always throwing you messages. It's a very important thing to remember that they're always kind of throwing you some kind of message about either about yourself, about what you're doing. Like everything is kind of like a media campaign, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. That's funny because that brought us right to this, right? I was like, when we were talking about cartoons, I was kind of waiting on Mum Ra, right? I was waiting.
but again, see, this is right here.
Yeah.
Is negative.
It is.
Right?
See, it's negative, right? Right.
Right, it's negative because what is this telling us?
It's that he's decrepit. He looks like death. He's the evil guy. He's the bad guy.
Well, what this is saying that Kemet is actually bad.
Yeah, that's what it's telling you.
Okay, that's what it's saying, and
that's what it's telling you.
Right, and that's right, and that's unfortunate because that is not true. But it's making it evil, like they did the Mummy movie where they made evil, made him a demon.
Right. They made him a demon, exactly.
Okay.
And your brain will start to associate that name. Like imagine you're 8, you're 10, you're 11 when you're watching this, right, for the first time. You will start to associate this idea with these concepts. That's what your brain does. It's a difference engine. It's going through all these thoughts and it's connecting things where this is connected with this. Well, I connect Ra with something bad and evil. I don't want that. I want to reject that, right? I don't want to associate with that. Right? That's the 100%. Power of what that imagery does, right? And again, why it becomes important to show an image like this, right? Why these images become even more so important.
Yeah, right. That's why I'm saying, right? Put that up there, right? I mean, everybody associated that with Thundercats.
Yeah.
But I watch Bravestar any day over Thundercats.
Right. Yeah, honestly. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah. The Thundercats, they was on some nonsense, man.
Yeah. Put this up. Maybe I brought this up. Oh, you saw this one too, right?
Let's see. Let me see what you got.
If you can probably get that out. Got it?
I don't see anything in the chat.
No?
I think it might be certain kind of images it doesn't.
Let's try it again.
Okay, there it is. There we go.
Okay. So what we're looking at is Menkheperra Tehutimus, or we know him as Thutmose the Third.
Right.
So who is behind him? That's none other than Montu behind him.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. But this is the same person.
Yeah.
Right. There's no one behind it. What's happening is he is personified as Montu on the battlefield, and what this is showing is him pulling the bow.
Yeah.
he says, I'm come with the strength of Montu. That means the conquering vitality.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what that means.
Yeah. I'm
So
manifesting my Montu.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So when you say that, that's strength.
Yeah.
That's power. That's
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
And that's who Montu is.
Right. Right.
So it's not like it's another person there, or there's actually a person there with a bird head, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
No, this is the personification of war, what he's referring to.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Like if you had an emoji and you riding out, this is what your emoji is gonna appear like.
That's exactly 100%. That's the best way to explain it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But as people would see this and think it's two people there.
Yeah. Monty's riding with him.
Right.
In the war. Yeah.
Right. But every time it's inscripted or it's drawn out or it's even put on his war chariot, right? Mm-hmm. Saying that I am riding with my Montu.
Right. Yeah.
But it's right, and that's why they put that there.
Yeah.
Okay. But again, it's the same person.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone asked me a question earlier, and I before we close out, I just want to kind of bring it up. So, someone was asking me a question about the Montu arts, and one of the questions was, could I talk to them a little bit about that? So, what I'm going to do is share a little bit about how this came about.
Okay.
So people can kind of get an idea. So before we close out today, I just kind of want to put that out there. So let me just get something here real quick. See if I can grab an image. Hopefully I can. And the only reason why I wanted to do this is because I can probably maybe clear up something that a person was asking about. Okay, so a person was talking about what's the difference between that and martial arts. So what this is during the Nusubiti time, they would personify what they did based on representing their king.
Okay. Nothing came over yet.
All right. Oh, nothing came. Okay. Yeah. In that case, what we're talking about is Montu Hotep II. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Montu Hotep II actually lived in the 11th dynasty.
Okay.
And what was happening is because he had conquered, the lower part of Kemet, and he unified it in the 11th dynasty. Okay, the country people or the people of Kemet practice these war arts. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to bring it up here. Maybe will it work? Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, that type of file doesn't work.
Okay. Let's see if I got it. And then it's called thus the Montu arts. So the Montu arts literally means the war arts of the Nusubiti.
Okay.
So from that person, there was a Montu Hotep II, a Montu Hotep III, and so on. So everybody who practiced the Montu arts practiced the arts based on the Nusubiti.
Yeah.
Okay. So what that means is that there was no there we go. There was no martial arts.
Yeah, okay. Hang on. Yeah, I gotta get this one. Let me get this one. This is a good one here. Damn it. There you go. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. So this is Montu Hotep II, Nep Kare Montu Hotep.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It's Nep Kare Montu Hotep, and so he was the Nisubeti ruler of the 11th dynasty.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is, when he conquered, they conquered with war arts. He
Right.
conquered. See
Yeah.
the brother looking like Shaq.
Yeah, he does look
Okay.
like Shaq there. Yeah.
He looked like
Yeah.
Shaq. Okay.
Yeah.
So he conquered. What he did, the people there says we conquered our enemies, and so the military, the security, and everything else, they copied and of course represented these arts over and over again throughout his dynasty.
Yeah.
Then it was Mentu Hotep III. This would be Mentu Hotep. Then you have the Magnificent.
Right.
You have these people.
Yeah.
Okay. So all the Nasuts from his time all the way through the 18th dynasty, the 20th dynasty, the 25th dynasty, everyone practiced what was called the Montu arts.
Right.
The Montu arts is the celebration or the remembrance or carrying on the legacy of Mentu Hotep of the 11th dynasty.
Okay.
So we practice the Montu arts, celebrating or commemorating or continue to keep that legacy alive through the Nasuti.
Okay. Very much. Very much. We had a timely question in that's more of a modern question that came out of chat.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Let me get this one up here for you.
Oh.
I don't know, man. Spence versus Crawford, man.
I
don't know.
I don't have.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's a tough one there.
That's why it's a super fight. It's a mega fight, man.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I don't have any
Yeah.
words for that.
Yeah. That's gonna be fisticuffs. That's gonna be a great fight, though.
Yeah, I can't even. Yeah, I'm not going to put it out there. I don't know.
Yeah.
So right, I stay neutral in this.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. I'm just gonna enjoy this one because I think it's gonna be a good fight. But since he got us some verses, I got one more verse before we get up out of here. Okay.
Oh.
I think you're gonna like this verses too, man. Okay. That's what we got here. Okay. Jet Li, Van Damme.
I'm gonna give it to Jet Li.
You'll go Jet Li on this one, right?
Yeah, because I like Jean-Claude Van Damme. I mean, he's good at what he does. I do have to say that.
Yeah.
But Jet Li band is just right. To me, he's a little brother of Jackie Chan.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the best way to put him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's done a superb job.
Yeah.
And so I would have to give it to him, man. I mean, Van Damme, he did good in Cyborg. That's one of my favorite
that
movies.
was a great movie, man. If you haven't seen Cyborg, it's an older movie, like one of his first movies.
Yeah.
Man, that was intense. Yeah, that was a great movie.
Yeah, I'll go there with him on that one. But if you're talking about skill, you're talking about precision.
Yeah.
You're talking about the one that can really put it out there. He's very, very acrobatic.
Yeah.
Very well, right? He's he does a lot of his own stunts.
Right. Yeah.
So I have to give it to him.
Yeah. It's interesting, man, because I was just watching Bloodsport the other day.
Bloodsport?
Yeah, with Van Damme.
With Van. Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I like Van Damme. Okay. But Bolo would have destroyed him, for real.
I mean, Bolo was the man, dude. Bolo, seriously. Bolo's the man, dude. Yeah.
If he really wanted, he's a master for real.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And for real, I mean, he's right. Okay. So that was based on the story of Frank Dukes.
Right. Yeah. Very true. Yeah.
Okay. Now Frank Dukes is a real person.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Frank Dukes helped choreograph that movie to make Bloodsport, but. If you talk about going up against Bolo, it ain't happening.
Yeah. Bolo was the man, dude. Yeah.
Right. He stood toe to toe, man. He was there, man, with Bruce Lee himself. It ain't happening.
That's right. Yeah, man. And in the movies, man, this dude was a beast, man. This dude was a beast, man. This is one of the scariest dudes in movies, man. That's the one thing that he played up on was being that villain too, man. When this dude rolled out there,
right?
Oh man.
Well, he did Awesome Man in Double Impact.
Yeah. I remember that too. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a good job. So Bolo, man, I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
Bolo would. I mean, yeah, he's a beast, man. When it comes to that,
Yeah,
man.
the real Bolo,
And
right?
yeah, right. He's
Yeah.
real. He's real deal.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Okay.
So what
Is-
go ahead.
I wanted to say, just do you have Tong Po? You know who Tong Po is? The Muay Thai
No.
fighter.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
Man, Tong Po is a fighter for real in Thailand.
Okay.
Okay, did you see Kickboxer?
Yeah, I did see Kickboxer, yeah.
Okay, the guy he fought, Tong Po,
Yeah,
the guy
okay.
with okay,
That's the
real
dude.
fighter for real.
Okay.
A beast.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna
Okay,
have to get up on him too. Yeah, we'll have to get up on him too.
okay, so
Yeah.
put it out there.
All right. Well, I just wanted to close in a couple of verses. So we've talked still a lot about consciousness. Like we talked even more about consciousness. Is that going to be part? Like, what are we going to talk about next week? Is that going to be part of the discussion?
Well, I like talking about consciousness. What I want to talk about is, maybe something a little bit more different, like probably, how I want to talk a little bit about that, how it relates to human behavior.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, how it relates to, because I mean, what we are now seeing now with the brain and how we've looked at how it functions a little bit, how it works, how it relates to the nature, how this science plays out in human behavior.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. I like it. So again, thank you, Siva T, man. You dropped some jewels on us again. We had some fun. We talked about a lot of topics. I'll cut these into smaller individual bits for everyone to kind of enjoy, but definitely come by the channel. We got a lot of good videos, content. If you have some questions, if you want us to talk about a topic, drop it in the comment section. Me and Siva T are always in the comments, just kind of checking things out. Siva T, any last words before we get up out of here?
Yeah, just people subscribe, support our channel, and just pass on the word. Right, we're here for everybody.
Yeah, definitely share and like. So we appreciate you. We'll be back next week. Loved it again. Enjoy you guys as an audience and a group of friends.